now joined by our lovely Justine with Made with My Own Lilywhite Hands. Hi, Justine. Lovely to see you. So those of you that have got the box already, you will now know that, of course, you've got a beautiful crochet party ring.
Who doesn't love a party ring?
Who does not love a party ring? Exactly. So I'm going to kick off straight away by asking you a question. Justine, what do you do?
Well, I'm a crochet teacher. I used to do a lot of crochet commissions, but now I just teach, and I run crochet retreats. So we do weekend and week-long retreats, which are so much fun. Lots of kind of just imagine a giant girly sleepover.
Oh, amazing.
Lots of amazing food, way too much cake.
Never enough cake.
Often a little bit of alcohol involved of an evening. And then a lot of crochet. Basically,
Where do you do them?
Out in their pajamas all weekend. The weekend retreats are in West Sussex. They're up in Curdford, in an absolutely beautiful, enormous cottage. And then the week-long retreat is in Polzeath in Cornwall.
Oh, wow. Now,
so you're literally, beautiful. You're literally...
It's going to be working in your favour, I think, because, of course, everyone's encouraged to holiday at home, holiday in the UK. So,
fingers crossed.
We'll come on to that.
The Cornish retreat should have been last week.
Oh,
I know. So everyone last week was in a little bit of mourning that we weren't overlooking the sea in Cornwall, but never mind.
So, Justine, Made with My Own Lilywhite Hands, where did that name come from?
Well, it came from the musical Oliver. And it's one of our family's favourite films. And it's when the Artful Dodger takes Oliver to meet Fagin, and he's meeting all the little street kids, and they're talking about the silk handkerchiefs that they've obviously stolen.
Yeah.
And he says, "Oh, did you make those?" And this little urchin boy goes, "Yeah, with my own lily white hands." And it became a running gag in our house. So when we decided to do the Facebook page, it was the only name that we had to have. So next time you watch Oliver, you'll see this little kid say it and you'll laugh.
See that. Amazing. So, and your website, Made with My Own Lilywhite Hands.
Made with My Lilywhite. I'm sorry it's so long.
I know it is a long one, but sometimes it just has to be what it is, basically.
It is what it is.
Now, if you're wondering as a viewer what other things Justine does, this is my daughter's collection of what Justine does. She has practically a whole biscuit tin full of beautiful items. And of course, those of you that have been to my weekender or maybe have seen Patrick and George, our beautiful,
so famous,
very, very famous budgies, which Justine swore she would never, ever do again.
No. Anybody watching this video, please don't ask for a budgie.
Oh, come on. Budgie. Now, that budgies are so nostalgic for me because I grew up with grandparents with budgies and stuff. So that really is, and we grew up, we had 8 at one point. But our budgies were, what do you call it? Very feral. They weren't in cages. They were just in our house all over the place. It was, anyway, that's another story for another day. So Justine is a beautiful crocheter, and we want to know, how long have you done it and why did you start?
There's a little freak shake.
Oh my gosh. What, you got a freak shake?
It's a freak shake, yeah.
Oh my God. That is amazing.
We love crocheting random food items. It's very pleasing.
We need to crochet a whole shop.
Yes, we need a crochet sweet shop. That's what we need. I started crocheting now about 6 years ago. And it was kind of thrust upon me. Actually, a mutual friend of yours and mine, Dawn, Jeanette Compton, opened Crafty Tea Shop in Worthing. and she crowdfunded, and one of the things you could pledge for was to have like a shelf or a unit in her shop where you could sell your craft items. And I'd already set up a crochet page made with my Lilywhite hands for my mum, because she'd retired and was just selling the odd little thing on Facebook. And I do a lot of card making and decoupage and upcycling. So we decided to kind of collaborate and take a whole unit from Jeanette. And we did, and we loved it. We absolutely loved being at the shop. And it was that kind of shop that really launched everything for me. Because what happened was, my mum used to make these, I should have brought one up. My mum used to make these crazy chickens, and they sold like hotcakes in the shop. And she basically couldn't keep up with demand. Excuse me. So she came over to mine one day with some random yarn that was in the bottom of her handbag and a hook, and just said, look, I've got to show you how to crochet because you've got to help me make these chickens. So I kind of had no choice in the matter. And she sat with me for about 20 minutes and then said, oh, you'll be fine. Just keep going and you'll work it out. And then promptly left. And I watched YouTube, and I looked at stuff, and I crocheted for sort of 3 days solid. And by the end of it, I'd kind of taught myself all kinds of stuff, and I completely fell in love with it. And within the year of me learning, me and Mum and I had started running classes in Jeanette's shop, and then it went from there. And I just absolutely loved teaching, and then we started the retreat. So it was a happy kind of accident that I was forced into,
as the best things often are,
my life. So it all came good in the end.
Wow. What's your background? Was your background in craft?
My background is actually, my degree is in graphic design. So I have a degree in graphic design. I have a degree in interior design. But then, of course, I worked in finance for about 15 years, like you do. And then I gave it all up and went back to my crafty roots.
Wow. Well, we all end up doing that somehow. Well, I know exactly. I have. This lockdown, this whole year has made me remember I was an avid crafter, life before children, and we used to get the girlfriends round and we'd sort of do random paper macheing, and I was a real Fimo artist. I made a whole chessboard and chess set.
Wow.
Fimo. I used to make wizards. So I loved craft, and I am very creative. I just kind of like got busy and didn't have time. So now this has brought this all around. So that's really interesting, and thank goodness you did. And I think I know
I'm very, I honestly, I feel really blessed that I do a job that I absolutely love, and I get to hang out so sorry I get to hang out with some amazingly wonderful people that have become my friends, and I get to watch Netflix all day and crochet. I mean, what's not to love about my job?
What's not to love about that? Excellent. So how has business been since COVID hit the world?
It's for a lot of people, obviously it's been devastating. I'm quite privileged in a way. I was very privileged last summer. My other half did an amazing job at kind of I don't want to say landscaping's the wrong word, but he rejigged our entire back garden and turned it into like an outdoor lounge with fairy lights and everything. So when we had the rule of 6, I would have the ladies round, 5 ladies and me, obviously, and he positioned it so the chairs were kind of 2 meters apart, and so we could have lessons in the back garden, probably much to my neighbors' dismay, as they're hearing like middle-aged women guffawing in the garden next door. But we absolutely loved it. We could do evening classes, like I say, because he put lights up. So it was really lovely, and it gave us a whole new room in the garden, which we've never had, and we loved it. And then when the rule of 6 ended, obviously, we were gutted about that. But then I'm lucky enough to where I could take my classes online. So obviously I don't do beginners because it's very hard to learn.
Oh,
You really want to be with somebody, I would say, when you're learning to crochet. But for the ladies that already come to my classes, yeah, we've been doing classes online. I have actually taught some people online during lockdown, friends and family, but and they did amazingly well. But I wouldn't say it's the easiest thing to do. I think it's nice when you start to have somebody standing next to you kind of going, no, you want to put your hook in there. It's nice to have a hands-on approach. But yeah, so I've been running classes on Skype, which, I'm very grateful that I've been able to do that. And the wonderful ladies that come to class order. I do actually have a shop in my house, weirdly.
I have seen footage of this.
Yeah, I've got a little.
I don't know, how have I never been invited?
Because our house is always an ongoing project, a little bit like my camper van, so it's never quite finished. But you can come once this is lifted. You can come and sit in our garden lounge and have tea and cake. Absolutely,
and fairy lights and tea cakes, and that
fairy lights and tea cakes. Yeah, and so I'm really lucky because the girls order all their yarn and stuff from me. So I have been able to, obviously we've been mailing it out, or we have our own click and collect where it gets left in the porch with their name on it, and they just open the door and take it. So yeah, we do our own click and collect service.
So what's the future looking like? Obviously this is being recorded on the 22nd of February, so today we're going to find out what the road to, I keep saying the road to release, but the road
sounds like we're all incarcerated.
Well, yeah,
well, we are.
None of us know what the future's gonna hold. I probably think even after today's speech, we probably still won't fully know, because I think they're trying to be a little bit more vague than they were. But what do you? Well, let's ask you a question. What would you like to see the future hold for Naomi Lilywhite?
I just think, for me personally, if in a few weeks' time we could at least meet up with a mate and go for a walk, I think that would be fabulous. But what I would really love, because I'm very much of I don't want to jump into this and have us all go back into lockdown again. So I understand that they've got to be cautious. For me, I would love it if we could have the rule of 6 again this summer. Because then at least we could be in the garden and we could be social, without putting anybody at risk. So that is my big hope for the summer, that I can do classes again outside, because I just think I know my lot, we need that. We need some social interaction with our mates.
It's lovely when you have a business which it revolves, like mine was and is,
very social.
It's social, and I think we'll never take for granted again just sitting together, having a natter, doing a bit of crafting.
I totally agree. And not trying to be sexist or anything, but particularly women. I think, don't get me wrong, I think that the chaps are suffering as well, but just women tend to hang out and talk about rubbish, but somehow it makes you feel better, because you just end up chatting about things. And I am even though I get to talk to them on Skype, it's not the same. I really miss seeing all my friends, so I'm really hoping that'll happen. And then I'm hoping that the lockdown will lift enough to where we can get, for those of you that don't know, we got a camper van. Dolly, our lovely Dolly, who needs to be finished so we can take her out on the road when we're allowed, obviously, and take crochet on the road. The idea is that she's like a traveling, little crochet shop and crochet teaching venue. And we got to get her finished, but
I think that's how our paths officially crossed originally, actually, because our paths crossed accidentally, because Jeanette's shop, the Crafty, I supported her crowdfund, and I took out a sponsorship banner, but you and I had never met. But then it was years later, obviously, where you did a crowdfunder for Dolly.
I did a crowdfunding, and you had a tea cozy.
I still have that tea cozy, thank you very much. And then of course I think it was possibly even a year later, when I was looking for a vehicle, I've got a similar but not the same. I mean, Dolly is unique, but my Ethel, they need to meet. Lovely, they need to be friends.
They need to hang out. Definitely,
for sure. So even maybe we can chug along somewhere, pull up aside each other, and just let the girls meet, and we can have a natter through the window. Tea
Yeah,
and cake in I'm looking forward to that so
that's a
much.
must. That
That
is
is
a must.
definitely a must. So thank you so much for chatting with
Oh,
us.
you're welcome.
This is the best of luck, and I've put your website details in the box so that people can check out your website to check out your plans for the
Fabulous.
future, and all your social links there as well. So honestly, I wish you the best of luck, and I
Thank
cannot
you,
wait till
darling.
we see each other again properly.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to be a part of your vintage box,
Oh,
and it's just lovely. We were gutted last year that it all got cancelled. I was so looking forward to it, and obviously we don't know what's happening this year, but
yeah.
we miss your weekenders, and
I
so
know, and having Justine and Mum in our crafty corner doing crochet, the pictures I've got of people just sitting, nattering and learning is
nattering.
lovely. But one thing's for sure, we won't be seeing any more of these. So,
No.
so Patrick and George will have to wait for another year when Weekender will return. They will return, but I just don't know
Perhaps they
where.
will. They definitely will
But
return.
we will see you then. Thanks for
All
chatting,
right.
and I'll see you
Mwah.
soon.
Take care, my darling, and I'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.